Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Got the D-Man here, and I'm glad you could join me as always. Today's topic is going to be guidance, mentorship, father figure, someone who can guide you. If you're going to climb Mount Everest and you've never done it before, you want a guide, someone who has been there before you. And why is that important? It's important because he knows the way and you don't. And very possibly, if you try to go on your own, you may end up being one of those landmarkers up there, the dead frozen bodies that they can't get down. So unless you want to die on Mount Everest and be a landmarker for the eternity, you need a guide. And it's the same way in dating, in business, in life. You need a guide. Now, generally, or supposedly, the father is the one that is supposed to guide men, and the mother is the one that is supposed to guide women. This doesn't always work out. Of course, sometimes the father dies. In today's society, with the divorce rate, the father many times is out of the house. He gets to see the kids once every couple weeks, if he can. Some fathers completely leave the family because it's so difficult for them to have a relationship with their kids when the mother is dominating and controlling everything. And in the U.S., the woman is given so much power through the courts that the man really has little say over how their child should be raised. So that's why I advise not to marry. Now, I believe in marriage. I just don't believe in marriage in the U.S. as the legal system is so intertwined in it. If there is any kind of a dissension or problems within the household. So that's a whole nother topic. But you need guidance as a man. You need mentorship. I mean, that's how we learn things. When I was a professional boxer, well, I started out as an amateur boxer. I didn't know anything about boxing. I was a street fighter. I thought I was tough until I got into the ring with people who could really beat the crap out of you, that knew how to fight, who knew how to really fight. Okay, but what I first did was I got a book and I read about it. Well, you can't really learn it by a book, but it's good to have the knowledge. Okay, then I got a coach. My first coach started teaching me things. And then I got another coach, and I had another coach after that. As I progressed, I got different coaches. I had a different coach when I fought as a professional than I did when I was an amateur. He had much more experience with professional fighters. He had fighters that were rated number one in the nation as an amateur, ranked in the top 10 in the world in professionals. So I learned a lot from him, and he too at one time was a professional boxer. So he had been down the path. He knew things that I didn't know, that it was a lot easier to learn them from him or to use his guidance than it would have been to go out there and try to learn it on my own. It's almost impossible to learn how to box and be a good fighter unless you have a coach, a guide, a mentor to watch you and explain your mistakes, tell you what to need to do over and over again, repetition, repetition. And that's what I do here too. I will say the same thing over and over and over again. Just like my coach, he would tell me over and over and over again to roll or to slip, and I would keep getting punched in the head. But eventually, I learned how to do it. He would be yelling at me and cussing at me. You need to roll, slip that punch. It's like, But eventually, I learned how to do it. The repetition of him telling me over and over and over again. You're not going to learn something the first time, unless it's something really simple. It's the same way if you're going out and meeting girls. You may be very afraid, uncomfortable, nervous at first. But that's how you learn. But if you have someone to guide you that tells you how to step forward, for example, it's easy. Just if you see a girl you like, you don't need a fancy pickup line. Just go up and say, hi. Guess what? She'll probably say, hi back. And you think, well, what am I going to say now? Just go with the flow. What's she wearing? What's the day like? Where are you at? What's going on in the world? Anything. Just anything. And people love to talk about themselves. So ask her something about herself, not in an interrogatory way like a investigation, but just, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing here today? What are we going to do tonight? Just whatever. Just whatever flows. And once she starts talking and says something, you take the lead from what she says. If you ask her, hey, do you like to travel? Oh, yeah, I went to Florida. Oh, really? What'd you like about Florida? Did you go to the beach? She might say, yeah. Did you get sunburn, or do you use sunblock when you're on the beach? I hate using sunblock. Just whatever. Just let it flow. Talk about current situations. I wouldn't talk about the virus thing. That's kind of a negative. Try to keep it positive and uplifting. Really, just, it's not that hard. Everyone loves to talk, and the most favorite subject of most people is themselves. People like to talk about themselves. Hey, where'd you get those shoes? Man, I like those. But let it be sincere. If you don't like her shoes, don't just say that. Or if she has a ring on, not a wedding ring, but, or what she's wearing, a dress, or if you like her hair. Now, I've told girls I like their hair, if I like it. I don't see too many girls that really know how to take care of their hair, but I went out with this one girl. Her hair was beautiful. She really put a lot of time and effort into her hair. It was beautiful. I would even reach out to some girl I didn't know and touch, and I've done that. Man, I like your hair. There was this girl where I was working, and she had blonde hair, and I was curly, and I really liked it. And I reached out and touched it, and I said, man, I like your hair. You know, but it was sincere. It was genuine, and she appreciated that. It's better than just going up and saying, oh, you're beautiful. She's heard that a million times if she is beautiful. Even if she isn't, she may have heard it a million times because we have so many simps out there who just think they're going to get the woman's approval by supplicating to her, by telling her how beautiful she is. Although they don't realize that she hears that all the time. It's just the same old thing. Here's the deal. I have girls tell me all the time, oh, you're so handsome. You know what I say? Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Or I've heard that since I've been here, since I was born. Yeah, that sounds arrogant, but it's the truth. I hear it all the time. So it really doesn't mean that much to me. I like it. But when they say it, I'm thinking, now, what do they want? If it's sincere, it's different, but I can tell usually whether it's sincere or not. But I have heard it a lot, okay? So it's not that important to me. Now, if they say something to me like, what might they say? Something I'm wearing. I just bought a new pair of Mary boots, okay? If I haven't got them yet, but if they said something about those, ooh, I like your boots. And that's something to remember. Women love shoes. Dress well. Get a good pair of shoes. And if you got a pair of shoes that need to be shined, keep them shiny. Dress sharp. Dress well. That's one of the things we lack here in America is people don't dress well. They almost kind of look unkempt. So if you're a sharp-dressed man, you are going to stand out from the rest of the crowd. I guarantee you. I live in the Midwest here in a small town north of St. Louis, and I dress well. How many times a day do people ask me, oh, why are you so dressed up? I'm like, no, I'm not dressed up. This is just the way I dress when I'm not in my work clothes. So if you want to stand out, a real easy way to do it is to dress well. Walk straight, good posture, keep your chest out, your head held high. You're somebody. Act like you're somebody. Are you high status? Act like you're high status. Until you believe you are high status, no one else is going to believe that. Your conception of yourself is what the world will see. Not so much what you are, but your conception of yourself is really what you are. If you can understand what I meant by that, it's really a difficult one to explain. For example, if I see a guy walking down the street, right now if I look out my window and I see that man, okay, I have a certain perception of him. But when I meet him, as soon as he opens his mouth, it may change. Because I'm only judging by what I see. Now, of course, if he's dressed nice and he looks like a high status person, but if I meet him and he talks like a hick or somebody off the streets who doesn't know anything, then my perception will change of him. But that is his conception of himself. He is projecting out to me by what is within him. From the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. What comes out of your mouth comes from who you are, what you really are. Not what you present yourself to be, but your true conception of yourself. You must change your conception of yourself before other people will see you differently. Don't expect anyone to see you as successful, high status, high value until you first conceive of yourself as being that person. Good thing to remember. Thanks for joining me. If you'd like to leave a comment in the comments section, I will be glad to help you. And if you'd like to get my help personally, you can contact me at marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. Check out my book, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels. It is inspirational and definitely educational for you men. But I've actually found out that women like it more than men do, probably because I was a womanizing rogue at one time in my life. I still get accused of being a player, and I guess I am somewhat of a player, but I'm a good player, okay? All right. Hey, have a great day. Thanks for joining me.